breakfast, 50 kobo lunch, 50 kobo dinner. Even that lunch would have a complement of orange squash, fresh orange juice, fresh mango juice. On Sunday, it will be accompanied by ice cream, and I will have a quarter ration of a chicken for just 50 kobo. And for the breakfast of 30 kobo, there was a dispenser of cocoa drink, and it was free. You could drink as much as you wanted until you started weighing on yourself if you were such a greedy person. So when I was now discussing with them about certain things, my discussion with him at first was purely about politics, that we need to change the direction of politics in this country. I believe that we cannot have people who are articulate, who are brilliant, who have a vision, and then you have semi-illiterates to go and represent you in particular places. And I told him in particular, I'm meeting him for the first time live, but I told him on phone that one of the things that got me annoyed and I decided I will contest for the Senate on the platform of the Social Democratic Party is that I discovered that one of the major parties is fielding a candidate who once claimed that he got his HND before his OND and who cannot construct 3 correct sentences in English. This is somebody that I more or less grew up with. I know him. So if we now have a situation like that and I keep quiet, then the generations after will wonder, where were people like myself when such people put themselves forward and nobody challenged them and they won elections? So I said, whether I win or I lose, I'm going to be in this race. But the tragedy that has befallen my generation should not befall the next generation. They should wake up and make sure that your days in Ife are not days of waste, that somebody who never went to school will now be your senator to be representing you. Somebody who cannot even put together what your thoughts and your desires are that you express to him. The floor of the Senate chambers is not about how much money you have. It is about how you can articulate the views of your people. So I said, okay, my alma mater is Ife. I would love those of you that are in Ife right now to also get more awakened that danger lies ahead of you that some of us are already facing. Semi-illiterates are already pushing themselves forward to be what they ought not to be. And great political parties, otherwise great, I would say, are pushing them forward, leaving aside people who are more qualified. So in the course of discussion, he said, but does anybody even know you in Ife? I said, go and ask all the students of architecture. They know me very well. In fact, I was supposed to get an award from the Faculty of Environmental Design and Management last week or 2 weeks ago. But because of all these predictable movements of people that they could think they wanted to shoot or not shoot, I kept away from the award. So my award must still be waiting somewhere. But I said, but I have people like Favor Oyekon, who was president of, was president of Ife Architecture Students Association last year. So I called John Ojo, who is the current president. And because I've been interacting with all those presidents of, and I remember that by the grace of God, I don't know whether you were the president when we came to fix the Femi Oje Resource Center. I don't know whether you are Femi Oje was my classmate, and he was my class set president, but we lost him. So the gauntlet, the baton fell on me to make sure that I coordinated, and it was essentially a cooperative effort of all my classmates. But because I'm the one in Osun State, they said, go and represent us. So they have and other things that so I said, if there are things that may be happening in your faculty too, let me know. I've never had anything to do with your faculty here. Although after leaving here, I also went to read theology, and because I'm a priest of the Anglican Church, so I also read theology and Christian education, and but not from Ife, from the Emmanuel College, which is an affiliate of the University of Ibadan. And so I said, all right, let's. So when he now wrote a message back, part of the message he wrote is that things perhaps are not the way they were in my generation. That we may even have students now that go on empty stomach. And I said, I don't know whether you schooled in Ife, sir. So people may not be overfed in our generation, but nobody was that hungry. So I just got annoyed and I told my team, I said, we are going to Ife today. I may not have much money because I am not here because I want to buy anybody's votes. In fact, those of you that are here are not likely to be from my constituency. The only thing that may connect us together is if by the grace of God, you understand my message and you carry the message all around and many more people understand and I get elected as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, whatever law that is made at the Senate chambers and eventually become law for Nigeria would affect all of us. And I have often spoken to my team about Article 18.3b of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And I want all of you, note it down, go and check. Article 18.3b of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria says that as far as it be possible, education shall be free up to the university level. I don't know if you brought my hard copy or if any of you, if you can open it for me, Article 18.3b of the Constitution. I want to read those exact words. So you should actually be enjoying free education because who says it is not possible? If we have enough funds flying around for other purposes, why can it not be put into education? So I said, if, and by the grace of God, when I become a senator, we are going to change that proviso from if and make sure that it shall be that there shall be free education in Nigeria up to the first degree level. Has any of you opened that place for me?
It's okay.
But that's what is in the article. So I now said, all right, even if you don't have free education, none of you should go hungry. So let me see whatever little resources that I can put together this Friday afternoon and get a few quantity of foodstuff on the basis of the needs assessment, because when he wrote the list, I saw the number one item is that some students go on empty stomach. So I said, no, this should not happen. My wife graduated from Ife. I graduated from Ife. I have 2 biological children. Of course, I have other children by the grace of God that I am sponsoring and that stay with me. But my 2 biological children attended Obafemi Awolowo University. One in the Department of Architecture, the other one in electrical electronics. So why should anybody in the same Ife, where I graduated from, my wife graduated from, and my 2 children also attended, go hungry? So that's why I changed all our programs and said we are coming here this afternoon.
I'm so impressed